It's my pleasure to welcome Gilad Newman and Brittany Schmid, Brittany Schmid joining us from California, who runs Dale Carnegie in California, Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco. A lot of experience in Silicon Valley. And Gilad Newman, who is the head of Dale Carnegie in Israel. Many of my teams, including myself, have participated in Dale Carnegie programs. And I just wanted to bring value to our participants today. And we have really a great program, interactive. We're going to have breakout rooms and give you the opportunity to try out and learn some new techniques on paving the way to Silicon Valley. So without further ado, I want to invite Gilad to run our last masterclass as we close our last session for Access Tel Aviv 2021. Gilad?
Okay, so thank you very much, and good evening, good morning, depending, or good afternoon, depending where you are in the world. My name is Gilad Newman. I'm the CEO of Dale Carnegie Israel. I've been a trainer for the past 9 years. One thing I heard earlier today from Bill Reichert, who was talking as a VC, what they're looking for. And he mentioned that VCs buy from their hearts. And that really resonated with me, that a lot of it really has to do with how we connect. He said it's not about looking for nice people or how they talk really well or anything like that, but it's all about how they make that connection and create that trust. And this session today is really going to be a hands-on experiential session about how to do that. So just going to give Brittany just a few seconds to introduce herself, and then we can move on from there.
Hello, I'll make it very quick, but my name is Brittany Schmid. I am based out in California and oversee Dale Carnegie in Silicon Valley, surrounding Bay Area, Los Angeles, and San Diego, and just thrilled to be here with everyone.
Okay, thank you, Brittany. And it's really exciting actually this evening, because we were supposed to be, Brittany was supposed to host us for the Dale Carnegie World Convention in December, and obviously we had it online. So instead of going all the way to California, we're bringing Brittany here to Israel. So thank you for making the trip. So now you know a bit about us. By the way, Dale Carnegie is an international organization. We're today in 87 countries. We're doing online training for the past 10 years as an organization, over 108 years, and in Israel since 1973. And we've kind of learned a few things about how to make that connection, relationships, and build businesses through people. And business is really created via people. And now that you know a bit about who we are, it'll be great to see who's with us on this panel. So please, in the chat, just write down, where are you from, what company you're from, and maybe what part of the world you're coming from. So we get a bit of understanding. There's a great group of people here. So please write that in the chat. So what company or what position and where are you from in the world? In the meantime, I just want to say also thank you for Ed and Jason and Darina, a lot of graduates here today, but it's been a few times in Access, and it's always an exciting event. So we got David from Jerusalem and Chris from, we got UK investors, and founder of PRS, Philippe, thank you. Olesia, you're from, okay, Access Innovation. We got France, Tel Aviv. What else is coming through? And if you can put the cameras on, by the way, it's always good that's one of the things about making that connection, is seeing who we're talking to. So sometimes we try to hide behind the cameras, but if we put them on, we get to see people's reaction. So challenge you to, even for a while, put on, we can see who's here. Okay, we've got a lot of countries, Holland, Mexico. Wow, this is a truly international Moscow, Brussels event. Really exciting, great. Okay, so let's see a bit about what we're going to be doing today. Now that we have understand who's here and who's in this panel. So if we can move to the next slide. These are some of the objectives that we thought of today about how do we really make that connection. We found that it's much more challenging. You know, how many of us, if you know where the reactions buttons right at the bottom of the, how many of us, you know, raise your hand or give us a like? How many have found it more challenging to make a connection with other people the last year? So, or you can even just write a yes in the chat if you don't know where the reactions are, but the reactions, we got that like, hands up. Yeah, so how many of us have found that? Yeah, we got also from Switzerland, still coming in. Okay, so here we're about see how we can engage with other people. And now looking at, this used to be our world, you know, and the importance of shaking hands is so, so powerful. You know, I've seen how many of you miss that shaking that hand of other people. We've started a face-to-face course this week and people were just shaking hands. So, you know, but we still don't know how to do it. Can we shake hands? Can we, how do we engage with other people? Do we nod our head now? What do we do? Because it really makes that bond. So we found in Dale Carnegie that some of the things that actually Dale Carnegie wrote in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, more than 80, it's 87 years ago soon, 86 years ago, no, 85 years ago, and really make a difference. So if we move to the next slide, we'll see some of these principles from How to Win Friends and Influence People. And in the chat, this is going to be, as we said, interactive. Take a look at these. What do you think what principles do you think would make the greatest impact with other people, in connecting with other people? So just write the number of principle in the chat, please. Okay. So we have already Brittany, you see number 4, which is something that doesn't always come up. Yeah, and I'll see maybe Alicia, I don't know if it's Darina. You said number 5. Why number 5? Could you switch on your microphone and tell us briefly? That's possible. I can help you with that. Maybe unmute yourself. If not, you can just write.
Hi, Gilad. Actually, it's Darina here.
It's Darina. Okay, so why number 5?
I like to smile. That's why.
Okay, yeah. And what do you see when you when you smile? What does that do?
It makes people feel more comfortable and relaxed, maybe.
Yeah. So even in, you know, sometimes it's challenging. If we smile, it really reflects on other people. I see number 4 has come quite a lot of times, being that person who's interested in other people. A lot of times we're focused in ourselves and forget about the other person. Pios wrote here number 7, yeah, being a better listener. So a lot of these principles, by the way, in the next slide, we'll show you how, if you want to get them, you'll be able to see you can download a free app in the Google Play Store, which is Dale Carnegie's Golden Book. And then you can review them and then actually have something which is like a pocket guide of how to connect with other people. So just write Golden Book or Dale Carnegie Golden Book on your app store, and you'll be able to download it for free. Yeah, and I see Chris here is mentioning that a lot of times it's sometimes we overtalk. So with that in mind, I think it's good time to hand over the baton to Brittany. Will take us a bit to what's going on the other side of the world, down there in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, thank you, Gilad. So it was fun to just kind of refresh on what some of the statistics are in our neck of the woods. And I wasn't too surprised to see the percentage that Silicon Valley accounts for as far as global startups. Recognizing then that half of the top cities in the world are from the US, and then the other locations pulled out were New York, Los Angeles, and Boston. Additionally, looking, and that was from the Center of American Entrepreneurship. And then Forbes represented the second statistic here, with immigrant entrepreneurs accounting for 25% of all new businesses in the US. And again, the highest concentration in California, New York, and New Jersey. So when we think about the startups that we're seeing in the Bay Area, what are we seeing as kind of some consistent trends and some key attributes that really help founders stand out with the VCs out here and angel investors? And so two key areas that sound simple by definition, but really, how does this really come about? So when we think about relationships, how do we treat an introduction like the start of a relationship? How do we identify what a contact could become more like a friendship? How are we staying in touch? How are we following up? Regardless of if that relationship has become a business relationship where there's a connection or funding or not. Regardless, the networks are pretty small, and staying connected and interacting with everyone that you're interacting with and connecting with in the business, founders, VCs, right, whether you work with them or not, are going to be referral sources or going to be future opportunities that could open the door for you. So what are we thinking about to be intentional to drive those relationships and really consider them more like a friendship? What would that look like differently for us, right? And then secondly, from that, these relationships building trust, building that foundation. So someone is comfortable passing your name along as a recommendation, someone passing your name along as someone to be trusted to do business with. And so how does this show up? What are some opportunities that we can do in our day-to-day to represent this well? So thinking very simply, as far as a building relationship as a model, showing genuine interest, focusing on the other person, and being a strong conversationalist. It's interesting with many of our programs, sometimes when we think about showing genuine interest, we find ourselves thrust into this conversation and we're not really sure where to begin to just kind of have small talk. I don't know how many of us have joined into a Zoom meeting and we join in before other people join, and you're just kind of, what do I even start to talk about? Or you're meeting someone for a virtual coffee, hopefully in person sometime in the future as well. How do we start these conversations? So in Dale Carnegie, we have something called a conversation stack. And we introduce how you can memorize name, home, family, work, travel, hobby ideas. While we don't have time here today, the idea behind it would be each of these areas represent an opportunity for at least 2 to 3 questions. So when we think about someone's home, how do we dig into a question there? So something along the lines of, where were you raised? Where did you grow up? What was your favorite thing to do in that community or that area? Did you have a favorite restaurant, right? Was there something in particular that your family did as a tradition? So taking the time as soon as this call is done at the end of this day and really saying, what are some questions that I could take and just draw out a little bit more information? And so when we spend time there on those questions, once we practice them, they become a little bit more natural. Then focusing on the other person. So when we have these interactions, making sure that we're incorporating all best practices relating to active listening skills. So having the camera at the height, right, especially for these virtual presence, being sure that we're nodding in agreement, keeping our full attention there. And then really, when we are listening well and we've asked a question, the person's responding, when we're curious, we're easily able to identify additional questions that can go into that. And then being a strong conversationalist, essentially what that is open-ended questions. Again, right, something that we might conceptually understand, close-ended versus open-ended questions, but really being curious about, help me understand, or in what ways. So thinking about openers to questions in order to make sure that we're opening that door for really understanding each other, and for us really looking to understand their perspective, their motivators, and some of the different attributes that make them who they are. So this is really the foundation of how relationships are built. The beauty of this tool is it's not just with those that we're trying to seek funding with. It's for anyone in our organization. So these are tools that we can use to leverage to build relationships throughout our organization, up, down, right? As well as outside of our organizations within our community and families especially. Those are great places to practice as well. So we're going to go through a few example questions before we jump into a chance to have a breakout and practice this. Dale Carnegie believes that once we understand the why, right? What's my emotional connection? Why do I care about building relationships? How is this going to help me? So thinking about these opportunities, again, it could be starting at home and building that skill, or the organization, or with a call that you might have tomorrow. So when we think about it, we break it into 3 distinct areas. Factual questions are the starting point because that's where people get comfortable with us, right? So we haven't earned the right necessarily to engage into a question that someone might not be ready to walk into. So a factual question is kind of that ease of entry, right? So where did you grow up? What was your first job? How long have you worked here? Right? These factual questions are easy to answer. And again, trying to think about different ways to open it up or where we can go into the second stage. Causative. So causative meaning the why, right? So, or how. So this is where we start to kind of open up the cause of where did you go to school? What made you choose that school, right? What made you choose that degree? What was it that you enjoyed most about studying this? How did your life pivot to take you from that school into this other school, right? Or how was it when you had to move out of that area? So again, when we take the time to think about some questions that can be pretty universal in nature, and when we really put on that great interaction skill of listening actively, this is when it just starts to feel natural, because it's not supposed to be question, clearly, right? It, as a conversation being more fluid. You can usually stay at about 2 to 3 factual questions, but on the same kind of pathway. Don't jump from topic to topic. And then the causative question, typically after you've asked 1 or 2, you're able to go into the next level, which is value-based questions. So value-based questions get more into leading us to understand the other person's motivators, values, key attributes. And so when we think about this from those that we're seeking funding from, if we understand that family is a key value to them, that's going to help us understand how to relate with them further and build on these conversations, talking about what's going on with their kids' family, interacting with how different aspects of what we're doing allow that for our employees, or maybe as a part of what our company stands for as values also, right? So you can start to bridge in a common interest as we've taken the time to understand those that we're seeking to have business relationships with, stakeholders or founder, or those that are giving us funding. So thinking about value-based questions, right? If I've asked about why did you choose this degree, and what drew you into that degree, and then you can ask a question as something along the lines of, if you could wave your wand, right? Or if you could have chosen a different degree, knowing what you know now, what would you have chosen and why, right? And so the idea behind that is it opens up the door into conversations and identifying aspects of the person you're talking with in ways that you hadn't understood before. We've used this tools with organizations, with folks that have worked together for over 10 years, and inevitably something comes out and there's a commonality and an interest, and you just hear them laughing and going, no way, that's incredible. And the bond is just pretty special because it's something that can continue with them for years to come. And so we want to be able to have a chance to go through these activities together. So thankfully, Zoom has a breakout room option. So the way this is set up, many of our clients have said, who has time to go over all these questions? Now, these questions can be done in 2 to 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. So we're going to be breaking you out with a partner, and you're going to have 5 minutes. So 5 minutes allows for 2 minutes for the first partner, 2 minutes for the second partner, and whatever logistics need to happen as you kind of get set up and then transition between the two. Some things to remember: what makes a good listening partner? Okay. If someone is telling me that they love dogs, a specific kind of dog, and I take over and I go, oh my gosh, I love dogs too, I have da 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 da, suddenly that conversation is all about me. And the other person is thinking, you don't really care about me at all. So to be a good listener, the person that is asking the question should not be speaking more than 20% of the time. That means We, as the person asking the questions, ask the question in a conversational way, nod, be engaged, acknowledge and respond, don't take it over. The other person should be taking around 80% of the time. Really, really work hard to be thinking about those open-ended questions, how to be an active listener and engaged. The other piece of this is it gives us a chance to turn on our cameras, right? So friends usually have cameras on and can be able to be laughing with each other and seeing each other's interactions. So I encourage everyone to turn on their camera during the breakout session. So again, in a moment, the only thing to remember is you'll be put into a breakout room. You'll have 5 minutes in the breakout room, 2 minutes per partner for everyone to practice this skill, get the kinks out. Think about factual questions to start the conversation, move to causative questions, and then lastly, the value-based questions. Once you've finished around 2 minutes managing your own time, you choose who goes first or whoever's name starts earliest in the alphabet, you guys decide. And then once that 2 minutes is done, transition for the second person and we'll bring you back in 5 minutes. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and type something in the chat. Otherwise, in about next 10 seconds, you'll be moved into a breakout room.
Yeah, just one more thing before we break out into the rooms. Don't be afraid of it. I see some people are scared of, might be scared of it. This is a good opportunity to practice, put into practice what we're doing. So, you'll get to meet some interesting people and it's a great opportunity for that. And one last thing while we do that, is you take a picture of this slide here, so you get to have a quick experience. You have a little cheat sheet to ask some questions. So take that opportunity to do that. Okay, and in a minute, it's going to take us another about 20 seconds. We'll be able to get you into those breakout rooms and just have some fun, see what happens when we do things maybe we're not always accustomed to doing. Okay, so we're just gonna send you out in 5 seconds. Let's see if that works. Okay, here we go. So just say yes and go off.
It's weird,
Okay.
Gilad. I don't see any breakout room.
How come? Seems like they were all created them. I didn't send you into one.
Ah, okay.
But if you want me to send you into, I wasn't sure which one to send you in. But I see we've got David didn't join for some reason. And Sharon, so Ronnie's on his own there. So let's move to breakout number 10. Okay. No, does not join. Some of us haven't joined.
Okay, so.
Well, those who haven't joined, be with us for a few more minutes. Seems like some of them haven't joined. If you just click join, you'll be able to get into the room and meet somebody. Let me see if I can move somebody here. Let's see. Move to. Okay. Okay, we've got some going there.
Gilad, you can match us with other people, not just among ourselves.
Yeah, but we got some who haven't. I can join you with Kevin if you want to.
Sure.
Okay. Sign
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. It's a universal skill.
There we go.
So then the folks that I see here, does that mean that they're not in rooms?
Yeah, it's hard to see. No, there's
So if anybody that can hear us now would like to be placed in a room, you could add it to chat. Just add your name to chat. Okay. Perhaps some are unable to be on camera or be able to connect.
Okay, I didn't receive any invitation to join the room. Maybe because I'm using just the Zoom link, not the platform. I don't know. Let me try to reconnect with the platform. Gilad, you are muted.
I'll put you in a room now, just for even a couple of minutes. You can be in, see, 1 second. Room 16. Let's see, is that room? Yeah. Okay. I see. Hasn't joined. Okay, I think we're going to have it about another minute.
What?
I think we have, yeah, at least a minute, if not two.
Okay.
The nice thing about this activity is, you know, if each person ends up having 2.5 to 3 minutes, that's okay too.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna, it takes a minute to close the rooms, I think. So I'm gonna.
Oh, right, they give them a 30-second or whatnot.
Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah, so now it's 60 seconds till they're back.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hi.
Okay.
We just had breakouts, so they're all coming back.
How are we
So
doing?
we'll be back in about 10 seconds, everybody.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody should be back now.
Outstanding. Welcome
All
back.
right. So in the chats, welcome back. Tell us, so how was it? How was this breakout session?
Or come off mute.
When we get a reaction, see, we'll get somebody off mute as well. So how was that in the chat, please?
Or sometimes I just say your one-word emotion: terrifying,
Yeah, okay.
exhilarating.
Well, somebody was alone. Okay, you had some, Giovanni didn't get anybody in there. Okay, because all right. We got a bit of time to clear your head, so that's also good. And we couldn't hear each other, just waved. Okay.
Oh no.
So that means we have to put our audio on. We maybe didn't mention that. Okay, so somebody here who had maybe switch on your audio, your microphone. we smiled, and we did have audio on. Okay. Warmed us all up, so we were ready to chat, got to know Kevin and crummy Brussels weather. Okay, Ed, so maybe share with us, how was that to have a quick different conversation?
That was great. I think we didn't talk about business, which was also good, just things in general. So that was nice, and good to meet somebody else who, of course, was in the mood to start talking. So that's nice. Nice to meet you, Kevin.
Okay, and Kevin, maybe you switch on your audio. How was that for you? Turn your mic on.
Yeah, it was great and easy. As you say, I'm an extrovert person, so it's quite easy for me.
Okay.
In the honors of St. Patrick's Day, I have a lot of Irish blood, so we're not very shy people. Like it's not much of a challenge.
Yeah. So, but it's always about that. It's great that we're open. It's always about seeing, even every time, challenge ourselves to make it a deeper conversation with other people and get to know them on a deeper level, like those questions that appear there. Anyway, if this is a question for everybody, what do you see the value in having these? Thank you, Kevin, by the way. What do you see the value of having these kind of questions? If you could please put that in the chat. Questions that we have on the screen at the moment. But when we're trying to make a connection, what would be that value for us? And maybe let's get Giovanni had time to think. Maybe switch on your microphone. What do you think the value could be using these questions?
Okay, hi. Sorry, I didn't hear the question the first time. Well, the value, it's difficult to say, I mean, because you don't know the answer the people you're talking to is going to give you. So the value is like the surprise and, I mean, the added information and connection and get right to you. So I think it's going to be like great value.
Sorry, could you just repeat the last sentence?
I mean, as you don't know what your partner is going to tell you, I mean, the person value is unforeseeable. So you could just like have a leap of faith and listen to what you hear, and it might give you in uncharted territory, maybe.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's great that we can explore new ways of getting to know other people. We don't know where it's going to lead, but that's how we open up the conversation. And Rosemary, maybe you, if you could, see your mic, you switch your microphone on. It's great that you have that video on as well. How does that create that engagement?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Thank you very much. No, I think all of those initiating questions opens up the availability to really engage with the other person and understand where they're coming from, and the little pointers about, you know, what was the thing in your life that changed your direction and stuff like that, which is, you know, again, you know, great questions just to have people not be so pointed, like, why did you leave this company, or stuff like that. So just really engagement. I think that's the first thing that's so important about building relationship, is just engaging and understanding the other person.
Yeah, definitely creates that connection, a lot of maybe that trust as well. Yesterday I had a conversation with one of our participants in one of our programs, and he said, listen, I'm a great conversationalist, you know, naturally. And I met somebody the other day, and in 5 minutes I knew where she's working, what she's doing, how many kids she has, and all this information. I said to him, okay, and so that's great that you got all that information. Do you know who this person is? And he kind of stopped, and he's like thinking there, going, well, actually not really. I said, so what would be the value if you knew who she is? He said, well, then we could really do a lot more together, because I know, you know, what's important for her. And this is what it's about. It's about finding what that person tick, what's important for them, what they're looking for, what they aspire for. And then we can build a stronger relationship and actually develop things. So this is what it's really about, that creating that deeper link we become more, please mute, yeah, became much more connected to other people. So one tool that if we practice it more, it becomes more natural. Brittany.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, one of the things we've seen a really valuable application of this tool is building the culture within our organization. When we give time to those that are within our organization, they feel valued. We're building those relationships and that trust within our organization, which drives that discretionary effort that we all seek as business owners and as investors in organizations that have a strong culture that is going to be seeing the tenure, the development of their people. All of these contribute to positive outcomes and truly have a win-win for both sides, because once we get to know those that are working with us, we have a much tighter connection and usually are enjoying the journey much more. And so when we finish conversations and are intentional about applying this tool, we can be thinking, I'm going to go into this conversation. I am looking to identify at least one attribute or one value that I can, when I walk away from this conversation, have learned about that individual. And so if we took on intentional application of getting to know people at that next layer of understanding, how much more hearty our relationships will be and joy will come out of it. So when we think about all the relationships that surround us, right, there are so many different areas that we can really drive relationships and trust within our community, our homes, and everywhere. And so it just starts with the one thing, right? So identifying one person in your sphere that you can utilize this tool with. Again, 2 to 3 minutes is all that it takes, but it does take the intentional thought before walking in. So we can reference those Dale Carnegie principles of smiling, taking a genuine interest. We understand some of the different conversation starters, and we understand how to be a good active listener, using those open-ended questions to be genuinely interested and make the other person feel valued because they are. When we think about this, who can we incorporate this with right now, today, tomorrow, this weekend? So identifying at least one person per day would be great, or even per week, where we can put this tool to practice is really where we're going to see that exponential outcome. But what you put in is what you get out, as we all know, right? And often it's easy to forget that the investment that we put into relationships pays these dividends long into the future. So taking this time now will help us. So with any good program, we like to see commitments. I know there's hesitation with writing in chat, and we're not going to be able to go back into breakout rooms. So it's up to you. Write down right now who you can use this tool with, when you will use it within the next 3 to 5 days at most, and what outcome do you anticipate seeing? When we leave these conversations and we've been genuinely interested, the other person's feeling pretty good. They feel heard, they feel understood. We need to make sure that we're remembering what we've talked about too, so that when we follow up with that conversation, we're building on the information we've gathered and we're utilizing that. Sometimes we even end the conversation with, wow, you're a courageous person to have been able to move across country and start all over. That must have taken incredible courage. I'm excited to talk more with you again next chance. Have a great rest of your day, right? So that leaving that person with recognition of the value that you gained and you understood from that conversation is powerful and really builds to lending into that relationship and trust. So if you're comfortable sharing, please feel free to jot into chat your commitment, because when we vocalize and share our commitments, we're much more likely to see it through. Again, what you put in is what you get out. But otherwise, Gilad and I are here. If you have any other questions or would like to engage, feel free to come off mute or share in chat, whatever you would like. But again, we're really privileged to be able to have this time together. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to some awesome outcomes from implementing this tool.
And thank you also. I see David is another graduate from ours from many years ago.
Oh.
And how important that name of other people is. When we mention the names, it's always that opportunity. On online, it's quite easy for us to see the person's name so we can kind of memorize it. When we meet other people, it's also trying to remember that name. And if there's other questions, it's a good opportunity to ask them now in chat or even switch on your microphone. A question that a lot of times comes up in these kind of things is, doesn't it feel like maybe I'm interrogating somebody when I'm asking all these questions? Well, a lot of it has to do with our intent and the way we do it. So if we make it conversational and very kind of down to earth and face to face, as we say, it becomes very comfortable. And then people really see, even the ones who are most introvert, suddenly the biggest challenge will be to shut them up. So they can open up and feel like very comfortable to talk to us because we're listening. And most people are not really used to that. And thank you. If there are any other comments or questions, please feel free to connect with us by LinkedIn or so by our emails. I'm based here in Israel, and I know we have a global organization. So I think pretty much every country that we have people here, we have operations, Brittany, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And a good opportunity to thank Access as well.
Yes, thank you. Have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever the time zone is.
So we can
Okay.
the microphone off to Jason or Ed, whoever wants to take it.
Yeah, so Gilad, thank you very much. Thank you much, Brittany. That was really very exciting and really a good way to end our conference. So maybe you could just stop sharing for a minute and we can just go to speaker view. Okay.
So great. So I'm happy to wrap things up and really glad that you could join us, Brittany, and everyone who stuck with us till the very end. This has been a fantastic event and it's been so much work going into making this happen. You guys really have no idea, and it's been an incredible journey. So Ed for leading everyone, and of course everyone in our team, to Darina, to Justine in the beginning when she was working on this, to Alessia, to Ariel, to really our whole team, which is right over here to make things happen. And a big thank you to our sponsors, to Fox Rothschild, to DLA Piper, to IE University, to IVEX, Sanamine Ventures, NRW, and Comobile here in Israel, to all our partners, to all the presenting stars and panelists, and for everyone who joined us. We hope you enjoyed. This is our first time running all virtual Access Tel Aviv, and we hope we'll return next year in person. But you never know. Stay tuned for our next events. We have a virtual roadshow to Access Russia. You can find all that information, as well as next month, a webinar with 4 of the leading automotive OEMs. So if you're here, you'll be getting our emails and getting more information. We really appreciate your time for joining us for this 2021 Access Tel Aviv, our 8th annual and first virtual event. Thank you so much. Ed, do you have any other remarks? Did I miss anything?
Thank you very much, Jason, for all of your hard work. We actually forgot to thank Meva, who's joining us from Paris, and Lisa, who's here today. And wanted to also thank all the startups who participated. We had more than 60 speakers today, and again, from 33 countries. We look forward to being in touch with you. You'll get plenty of our emails, and now you can see who's behind those emails. Coming from Darina or Justine, and we have some great events, as Jason mentioned, coming up, and we'll be reaching out to you soon. Have a good evening, stay safe, and we're looking forward to hosting you and meeting you in person. So have a good evening, or good morning, or good day, and I hope you took away some valuable lessons and brought you some really good content, and it's been a pleasure, and take it easy, and we'll see you soon.